Hey, what's going on? It's me, it's Kenny Roy. We are on time today. That is a rare occasion lately. That is a rare occasion. Welcome to the webcast for the September AnimGym. The topic was duck, as in not the poultry, but the action of ducking down, avoiding something. Doesn't matter what it is. Animators took it on, and I think we have two entries today. There were more entries last month than got into the webcast. I missed a couple actually, and I took a look and I refreshed and made sure that the submission form was working. And hopefully we are back on track. Hopefully it is only two, but if you're watching right now and you are not one of the two, it's Kitwana Julius and Nicole Moellner. And if that's not one of, if you turned one in and I didn't just say your name, email it to me right now, and I'll make sure you get into the crit. Okay. And then we'll rock and roll. Then we'll get it on to the break of dawn. Remember, the AnimGym is a free resource for KennyRoy.com members to get a critique on your work every single month. It is built into the membership on the site. It's a huge value, I think. But what do I know? You guys know better than I do. If anyone else is giving out this, let me know. I'm trying to get people excited about it. But at any rate, yeah, so you just have to join the forum, and you can participate with the other animators. And just if you're watching right now on the KennyRoy.com page, then there's a link to the AnimGym right below my face. And if you're watching the YouTube replay, then go to KennyRoy.com and click on the AnimGym banner, and you'll get some information. But anyone can participate in the AnimGym. You can use the free KennyRoy.com forums login and just work with everybody. It's a monthly exercise, just like a gym. You got to practice. You got to flex your muscles if you're going to get any better at this stuff. Okay. So and every single KennyRoy.com member gets a critique at the end. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's jump into it. All right, let's start Kitwana first. I don't know why, but we're just going to do it that way. Remember, I'm seeing these for the first time when I play these for the replay. Okay, so here we go. Honestly, not bad, but there is such an evenness and sort of like a rhythm to everything that you've done in this shot that, like, I kind of feel like I know exactly when things are going to happen by the end. It's, sort of like an anticipation and turn, and then the reaction, and then the ducking. It all feels like it has pretty much the same kind of like approach to it all. So definitely first thing to do is to break up that timing. In your workflow, hopefully you guys have already turned on to animating with tempo. And if you haven't, that's okay. But I do think that pretty much first thing you need to nail down is that interesting timing choice. Making choices that are going to engage and are different. And if that's how you're going about these things, then it kind of means that you're never going to even find yourself in a situation like this. The timing will dictate the posing. I've kind of poo-pooed on posing lately, and I don't want my new method, my new workflow, to give you guys the impression that what I'm doing is taking one facet of animation, which is timing, completely over another. But basically the long and the short of it is aspect of the animation that I think is really going to engage audiences with, which is the timing, is going to make it so that, like, for instance, you know, as he anticipates up, you know, maybe you want this one to be a lot quicker because it's a reaction, right? It's not a thought of, you know, anticipation is thought, as known and repeated by Disney animators, and I think made famous by Eric Goldberg. But anticipation is thought, right? So you're going to anticipate, you know, big for an action that you're really planning on doing, you know, jumping up onto a ledge or whatever. But you're not going to really anticipate very large for, like, seeing an object, right? What? It's kind of a lot more pressing and a lot more surprising than that in that moment. All right, so that's maybe where you can change that timing a little bit, make it a lot quicker. And if it's a lot quicker, you might not have the time to get all the way up to that very, you know, kind of like up there pose. I mean, he even leaves the ground, or does he leave the ground? Yeah, he even jumps into the air. All right, so you might not get that. You might not get that back. Okay. And then I want to point out that the physics of this, he jumps into the air, and the spacing is not quite where it needs to be for a bouncing ball. He returns back down. There's not enough of a plateau, a slow in to that top of his jump. Okay, so you kind of broke physics. Everything falls at the exact same speed, and humans can pick up on it very easily when it's like too fast or too even or something like that. Okay, so yeah, so I would make this a little bit more a plateaued arc on that jump in there. Nice silhouette, good posing. I mean, after all, you know, we still do need to have like those you know, those skills very sharpened as animators. You could probably come just a little bit lower with that elbow. Custom pen. There we go. Could probably come a little bit lower with that elbow. Maybe just get it out of the way of his chin a little bit. Could help just a tad. Nice reversal. Watch out for his spine straightening too much in air. Before there's something that he can push off of, because, like, you know, this is his body is in air, and there's really not like a pose change would actually come from like both angles. You know what I mean? So like if you bend your back, it would actually be your hips and your shoulders sort of like coming together, because your hips aren't planted and you can't move just your back, if that makes any sense. A little bit of a hitch in here, like a full body, almost like activation on this key. Yeah, I mean, could use some polish, but the main thing is that the timing needs to be inventive and interesting and never even. And if you're animating with tempo, you won't find you fall into that problem normally ever. Okay, so thank you, Kidwana. Very, very good animation. Thanks for being a part of the AnimGym. I think you've participated in every single one, I think. I'm not sure, but I think. Same goes for Nicole. Here we go with Nicole's animation. Nicole is a stalwart member of the KennyRoy.com community, and I'm always excited to see what she comes up with. Here we go. Ooh, interesting. Okay, this is actually an interesting test in that it has the repetition of that thing coming at his head, so we expect him to sort of do something that kind of gives us a little bit more of a story of who he is and why he's there and what's going on. So, like, for instance, if an arrow goes at your head and you just casually dodge it, then are you really actually going to stand there and wait for the next one? If you're the kind of like assassin or whatever that can casually dodge one arrow, you're probably going to be on the move. you're probably going to, you know, dodge one arrow and then die at the person, you know, that's firing arrows. You're not going to dance around and whatever. Okay, so let's take the second action, your second choice, as the one that we're going to keep. All right, so if you're going to be dancing around and dodging arrows, then the first one couldn't be just like so easily dodged, right? This would have to be sort of an action that's carried out through the shot. So the first one, he might be dancing and dodges it to the side, and then it comes back in the next one, and then ducks underneath it. So I'm saying kind of the two performances, the two choices for each individual arrow are kind of like two different performances almost for me. I would think about like which one this actually is. He's like so calm and cool, and then he goes into like the real preparedness stance, and it kind of feels very different to me. There's also a little bit of you know, some weight issues. He stands up kind of like diagonally and kind of like shifts linearly over from left to right and stops himself, I feel like, with far too much ease. All right, once you go past, see how he goes past the halfway, the center point here. Like his hip is past, you know, this plant, you know, the majority of his weight. So like once you go past that, there's not really any stopping you. There's not really any like quick way to get you to kind of stop moving laterally, at least. So since he does move so quickly, you know, over that planted foot, it kind of feels like there's nothing that's really keeping him from continuing on that way. So it is a little bit of a weight slip up that you made there for me. Also, watch out for those full body keys, because it kind of does feel like his hand cruises into, you know, a slow in and then out, and then takes the whole body with it. You don't want the limbs to die. You don't want them to come to, you know, a full stop, and then, you know, the whole body kind of like comes to life with them. It feels a little bit too full body keyed. As he comes down and starts shifting his weight, this is an interesting moment that you can really kind of like start flexing your muscles and doing some cool, you know, analysis of this weight situation. I think you simplified it maybe a little too much. Again, he kind of like comes down, and there's a little bit of a weight slip up. Let me show you how. So he goes to the left, and it's fine that he stops himself. See this? See how it looks like, you know, he's moving from right to left, but at least he doesn't go past a straight planted foot. The foot is planted, and his knee is bending though. So it's almost as if he's stopping that momentum, right? But then he starts pushing over back towards the right, and he hasn't really pushed off enough or for long enough before he lifts that screen left planted foot. Do you see the problem there? It's almost as if his momentum is stopping itself again. All right, be very, very, very careful. There needs not only be balance, but there needs to be enough time dedicated to you know, the balance of that center of gravity before you can lift the leg. Okay, or shifting the weight before you can lift the leg. All right, one or the other. And then just for your purposes of you know, always kind of like practicing animating through the end of the shot, don't have him come to a perfect, you know, stop here, right? You know, a completely, you know, dead slow in pose. Okay, pretend like this is a shot in the middle of a lot of shots, and you know, we're going to cut to some sort of action. So if anything, put an action on the cut. Okay. not an action that is integral to the shot. I keep on seeing that though, and that's not good to do. For instance, some people take a they try to cram too many ideas in. I'm not saying cram ideas into your shot. I'm saying the end of it should feel like something is coming after, okay, as opposed to someone is like ducking underneath something and then is about to reveal why they were ducking underneath it, and it's kind of underneath, it's kind of all stuck and pushed towards the end of the shot. That would just be not good editing. That would be a problem of editing. And as animators, we need to be aware of all of the facets of filmmaking. We do need to be kind of actors and performers, but we also need to be kind of like directors and editors and know about lighting to a certain extent. How dramatic your character is going to be lit, and all these things that are going to affect your character and all those things. So anyway, just try not to have all of your keyframes kind of all go like this at the end of the shot, because I kind of feel like that's what's happening there. Okay. This is a little weird. I know you want overlap. I know you're trying to go for that head to be overlapped back, but I think the neck probably should be tilted forward, right? So you're using the neck and the head. It's very pushed back on this motion right here. Okay. So a little bit of weight issue, I would say, is the main thing, and sort of performance choice as to those two arrows going by. Seems a little too calm to me in the beginning. I would keep the second one. I would make the whole thing about him dancing left and right, and then ducking underneath. Okay, good work though, as always. Thanks for being part of the AnimGym as a stalwart member. Nicole is always great to see people coming back to the AnimGym. Let's see more entries next month. Okay, guys. The topic is already posted in the forums. Check it out. I think you'll like it. It's a little specific, but I did that because I want people to get practice coming up with simple, doable ideas with a little bit of direction. So we'll see how it goes this month. I think it's going to be great. That's it. That is it. I'm having a lot of fun. Hope you guys are too. Tell everyone you know about the AnimGym. Come in and flex your muscles. Okay. I'm Kenny Roy. Take care. Rock on.